What's up, battlers? It's your boy Professor Willow here, coming to you with a brand new bowl of spice for this winter PvP season. Yes, we're going to be delving back into the color-restricted cup, the February SILPH Arena Rose Cup. But before we get too far in, I'd like to make a special shout out to one of the biggest contributors to today's episode, which is El Show to Jason. I will be listing his Twitter and Instagram information on the bottom right hand corner of every one of the slides today, because El Show to Jason has taken the time to harvest this wonderful metadata, to run all the simulations, to just get down into the nitty gritty of what is the sheer difference between these two movesets. And I thank you so much, El Show to Jason, for letting me use this data for our video and to be able to pass it along to the rest of you battlers out there. So if you like my content, if you like what we're doing here, please go give that guy a like, a follow, a subscribe, whatever you can do. And I look forward to working with you in the future, El Show to Jason. So let's get into the meta breakdown. Today we're going to be looking at Gliscor, the flying ground type user. And the two movesets we'll be looking at are the Fury Cutter Fast Move Edition and the Wing Attack. Both have viability on teams depending on what the rest of your team comp is, but hopefully after today you can go home with the knowledge of which one is actually going to work best for you and your team comp, and that way you can not only just bring it to the table, but you can use it for the full asset that it really is. So we're going to go matchup by matchup of some of the top meta Pokemon currently listed on PvPoke to show you kind of a compare and contrast between Fury Cutter and Wing Attack. So let's get in and start off with one of my favorite ghosty boys, Haunter. Haunter is a ghost poison type attacker. He runs Shadow Claw, Shadow Punch, and Shadow Ball. And as you can see immediately to the right, we have their battle rating scores. Fury Cutter is going to be on the top, Wing Attack is going to be on the bottom, but as you can see, Fury Cutter, oh my goodness, Fury Cutter is embarrassing. Does not hold a candle to Haunter in that respect, because that Fury Cutter is not going to be doing anything to Haunter. Whereas Wing Attack is going to at least be doing neutral damage, and so with that, the charge moves that you are able to throw are going to be able to KO it. And the battle note of the day is, if you are running the Wing Attacks edition, Night Slash, Night Slash, Night Slash. I mean, as quick as you can get them out, fire it, because that's the way that we come out on top with this. And it gets you an additional 456 points on your battle rating. So Night Slash, Night Slash, Night Slash if you guys are running that Wing Attack edition, and you should be fine. Most of these matchups that are close are going to allow us to keep swap priority. We're going to come out with little to medium amount of HP, and hopefully with our skills as battlers we're able to pull off the rest of the mount and get those W's and the best of the GG's. So the next one we're going to be looking at is Blaziken. Blaziken is a firefighting type. It runs Counter, Blaze Kick, and Blast Burn. Now, as you can see, both of the movesets here have a positive battle rating, meaning it's over 500, which means that it has a favorable chance of winning the matchup. Now, with Fury Cutter, this matchup is super close. It's almost downright IV dependent. But with Wing Attack, after you get the shield, after you bluff that Earthquake, you don't actually have to fire the second Night Slash. You can go in and farm. Do that J-farm action. And take that energy and just wreck on the next matchup, guys. I really hope you get a chance to experience this in a battle, because it is absolutely wonderful. So for Gliscor and Blaziken, it's a great counter, and whatever moveset you bring to the table, just make sure that it works for the rest of your team comp, and either one of these will do you fine. But our next matchup is not so good. We're going to look at the one, the only, the in every single possible Pokemon game, if they can shove it in outside of Pikachu, Charizard. And of course, we got to get that shiny action on all of these because I don't know about you guys. Everybody could deal with more shinies in their life, whether it's on the screen or in your decks. Am I right? Charizard's going to be running Fire Spin, Dragon Claw, and Blast Burn. We will be looking at the Wing Attack edition a little bit later on. We're kind of delving into the meta right now, exploring if that's going to be a viable option for a deep dive. But let me know, guys, if that's something that you want to see in the comments, or if you want to see us do any other deep dives specifically on Mons this meta. Let me know, and we'll try to get one churned out if it's possible, or if we see it's going to be something extra spicy. So with Charizard, I'm beating around the bush. It's not good. With Fury Cutter, bye. It gets demolished. If you're locked into this matchup, it's going to hurt. But after looking through the simulations, El Shota Jason found out that if you do come in with 42 energy, running the Wing Attack edition. Now, 42 energy, that is, I believe, six wing attacks. It's been a long time since I've been in a math class, but y'all can check me on my math on that. But 6 wing attacks right there. If you come in with that amount of energy, then you can actually win the matchup, just being based off speed. But that's a very unique scenario. So if you're looking at your team comp and you're looking at a Mon that handles Charizard better versus putting Gliscor as your final slot, maybe Gliscor is not right for that team comp, because Charizard is definitely going to take the cake in this matchup. Our next Pokemon is the pre-evolution of Gliscor, Gligar, which is one of my personal favorites from the anime days. But it is also a ground flying like its evolutionary partner. It's going to be running Wing Attack as well, and Night Slash as well, but the charge move difference that we're going to see is it's going to have the lower damage ground type attack move, Dig. The Metascore for Fury Cutter is 332, and the Metascore for Wing Attack is 464. Now the problem with Gligar is the fact that it's a single evolution, so you almost have to max it out to be able to make it viable, to get it as close to that 1500 CP cap as possible. So through that, the leveling is going to give Gligar an inherent bulk. It's thick, super thick, and so with that, it is a battle of the bulk. They're running essentially the same move sets, but you're going to be throwing Night Slash if you're ever caught in this matchup. It's not going to be a good matchup, but it's going to be the battle of the Night Slashes and IVs. Now, Gligar in simulation comes out with just a shred of HP, so if you happen to have a really good PvP IV Gliscor, and you're running against, say, somebody that got that, maybe came out a little lucky, so to speak, and found like a 1400 and below right before the tournament and didn't have to put too much dust into it, but popped a second charge move on it, yeah, lower PvP IVs may be the difference. We're talking like 7 HP. But for the most part, Gliscor is going to be taking this matchup no matter what the moveset that you're running, just sheerly due to its bulk and speed. So moving on down the line, we'll be looking at the mirror match, which before running Fury Cutter, this is a even matchup because, I mean, it's Fury Cutter v Fury Cutter. But with Wing Attack, guys, we improved by 130. Wing Attack just does that extra bit of damage to go ahead and snag you the win. You still need to be smart on shields because Earthquake does hurt. And I know I've seen some matchups where people sneak that Earthquake in there, and it definitely hurts. But if you play smart with your shields, Wing Attack does give you a competitive edge in the mirror matchup. The next matchup is the one everybody is dreading, Drifblim. This is our hard counter for this meta. Drifblim is going to be running Hex, Icy Wind, and Shadow Ball, and regardless of the moveset, we do not get to that magical 500, but slight improvement, but it's still a loss across the board. Hopefully you're not locked in on this one. But of course, if you are locked in, we're going to be trying to pump those Night Slashes in as quickly as possible due to the Ghost typing disadvantage from the Dark type moveset. But without us getting Stab and the speed, those Icy Winds they're brutal. But we do have hope. Another matchup coming up is Clefable. Okay, so whenever we're running Fury Cutter, we have a battle ranking of 461. And whenever we switch over to Wing Attack, it jumps up to 517. Now, Clefable is going to be running Charm and Meteor Mash. Now, right now, PV Poke discusses using Psychic. The other move in its pool is Dazzling Gleam. However, and I will echo this from my last video, if someone can find a matchup where Clefable actually gets to use Psychic as opposed to just running straight Meteor Mash, please send me an email, at me, as far as the comments are concerned, because honestly, I still think the second charge move is personal preference. Psychic would be, my pick for the potential of one-shotting a fighter if you didn't want to farm them down, your low shields, some scenario like that. But I still have yet to find a specific need for one over the other, and I believe both have viability at this point, this early in the meta. But with the matchup with Fury Cutter, we're going to definitely lose, but with Wing Attack, like I said, it becomes IV dependent. You need to bait the Earthquake to win. Excuse me, you need to land the Earthquake to win on the Wing Attack. In the Fury Cutter, it can be an IV dependent win with it being that close to 500, but that's all going to be depending on the Clefable that you're hitting in round. Next one we're going to look at is was the #1 pick for the longest time, is Machamp, running Counter, Cross Chop, and Rock Slide, and this is the reason Gliscor is on my team, just because of how he handles the fighters, even with Fury Cutter on his moveset. It is an excellent show of force. There's not much difference between the two, but if you are running I believe it's the Fury Cutter edition, I need to redo my battle notes here, but let me pull it up over here. With Machamp, you can kill it with Night Slash. So in Fury Cutter, of course, you're going to be spamming that Night Slash as quickly as possible. But with Wing Attack, if you can go in and I believe, yeah, you're going to gain that first shield, but you can farm up before the end of the match, after you have gotten that shield, to an Earthquake, not just a Night Slash. So if you're willing to hold on, and now I'm remembering what I put here, if you're willing to hold on, if you kill the Machamp with the second Night Slash after baiting the first Earthquake, you're going to come out with 12 HP. However, if you farm down, you come out with 77 energy, which is enough for an Earthquake, but with 4 HP. Now, that could be detrimental if you come across on the other side and somebody's fast move just absolutely deletes you. So that's a risk. That's a risk you're going to have to take. But the availability of throwing either an Earthquake or a Night Slash is in the terms of holding on to shields and stealing them from our opponents. That's juicy, and I know some of you battlers out there are the ones that are going to risk it to get the biscuit, and that 4 HP is desirable enough to have that 77 energy, so Good on you guys. I'm going to be practicing to see if that's possible within my battling skills. But that is a juicy, juicy matchup. The next one we're going to be looking at is Golbat. I'm not going to delve too much here, guys. It gets 4 points worse. It's still a loss across the board just because of how quick that Golbat's going to be getting to those Shadow Balls. It's still a tough loss. Next is Skarmory, which also still remains a tough loss. Skarmory is going to be running Air Slash, Sky Attack, and Flash Cannon, and all of those hurt. Not a good day for Gliscor. Next we move on to Licky, which is still a win. I believe we dropped 9 points off of that. Licky is going to be running Lick, Shadow Ball, and Earthquake. And regardless of if you run the Fury Cutter or the Wing Attack edition, it's a very close difference between those two movesets. So that's going to be... I haven't seen very many people running Licky. It's got great kind of showing on PvP. I'm really interested to see how that could factor into some people's team comps, especially with that fast move of Lick and having both Shadow Ball and Earthquake. That's a really spicy pick. But I still have yet to be able to fix it to where it works on my team comp. Next, we're going to be running into Skuntank, which, as you can see, the Fury Cutter edition with that bug type attack move of Fury Cutter, man, it's not doing anything to the Dark Poison type user, Skuntank, who's going to be running Poison Jab, Crunch, and Sludge Bomb. And that damage difference between Fury Cutter and Wing Attack is 100% the flip of this match. We go from a 123 to a 578, which is astronomical. So that being said, guys, as we move forward, looking at... Oh, I just realized I have an issue with one of my graphics here. Let me give you guys the real quote here. The initial battle rating for Fury Cutter should be listed as 617, and the score for the Wing Attack edition is going to be 604. I apologize, my graphic did not populate correctly, but as we can see, either way, the Skuntank matchup is going to be handily in the hands of Gliscor. Alright, next matchup is Medicham, which in this context, Fury Cutter is actually going to pull out a little bit ahead of Wing Attack. And that is because of the Psychic typing on Medicham. That bug type fast move is going to be pulling out just a little bit ahead with the speed aspect that it brings into it, but Medicham's going to be running Counter, Ice Punch, and Dynamic Punch. So either way, we're still going to be running straight Night Slash. But with the Wing Attack, believe it or not, it does make it a little bit more difficult. We dropped by 13 points in our battle rating. And then we have Magcargo. Oof, isn't that a gorgeous shiny? We need that in the game. I know we're voting on Community Day right now for the 4 that they have listed, but hashtag shiny Magcargo for the win. It's a gorgeous little ball of molten metal and rock. But it is a rock fire type. It's going to be running Rock Throw, Overheat, and Stone Edge. As you can see from the battle rating, both of these matchups are handily in Gliscor's claws, so to speak. But either way, in the one shield, you can win from either going straight Night Slash and spamming down that neutral damage to the Rock Fire user, or you can go straight Earthquake, because you'll make it in both scenarios. So either way, clear-cut win. Go Gliscor for another one. And Provo Pass is our next guy. Also a shiny we haven't seen in-game, so Niantic, if you see my videos, these are how they're supposed to look, and more preferentially in my decks. So our next type is Rock and Steel from Provo Pass. He's going to be running Rock Throw, Rock Slide, and Magnet Bomb for the mirror. He's going to come out with a 713 battle rating, or excuse me, Gliscor is going to come out with a 713 battle rating against Provo Pass, and with Wing Attack, it's going to come out with a 669, which is a 44-point difference. With Fury Cutter, you can go straight Earthquake and win this matchup handily, but with Wing Attack, you're going to... Provo Pass is actually going to faint just shy of the second Earthquake that you'd be able to throw. So, that's another favorable matchup for Gliscor in both situations, but we're getting closer and closer down to the matchups that flip into Fury Cutter's favor. Next Pokemon is one that I'm really curious to run in this cup, or at least to experiment, just because he seems like he could be a sleeper this meta, depending on how things shift week 2 and week 3. Drapion is the Poison Dark type. He runs Bite, Fell Stinger, and Aqua Tail. And with the Fury Cutter edition, you're going to come out with a battle rating of 621, and with Wing Attack, you're going to come out with a 552. In both scenarios, I would suggest baiting the shield with Earthquake. You still have a solid win either way, but that you need to bait out with that Earthquake as much as possible, because Gliscor's main claim to fame is whenever he has energy, he's dangerous. Which seems common sense to all the Pokemon, but Gliscor is especially speedy, he's especially spicy for this meta. He is just absolutely wonderful pick in my opinion. Next, we're going to be looking at Wigglytuff, who is the normal fairy type. He's going to be running Charm, Ice Beam, and Play Rough. Not much to say on this one, guys. This is still a loss regardless of the moveset. That Charm fast move is just going to eat you away, and by the time that you're able to block, it's almost not even worth it to block, just because of the amount of energy that it would take to be able to get off that second charge move. Night Slash is going to be resisted. Earthquake is going to be too far out because that Charm's going to delete us, so it's a bad day. Wigglytuff was an anti-flyer in Fusion. Turns out it's an anti-ground flyer in this meta as well. Next matchup is Sableye. This is one of the first that we're going to see that has a dramatic flip against Wing Attack. You're going to definitely want that Fury Cutter for this matchup. Sableye is going to be running Shadow Claw, Foul Play, and Power Gem. For all of those of you who saw the last video, I called it out with Ancient Power as opposed to Power Gem, but we got that corrected now. With Fury Cutter, Gliscor is going to come out with a 504, and this is one of those that you absolutely have to bait the shield with Earthquake. If they don't bait, bail, because you will not win this matchup. It comes out, it's almost IDV dependent how close the HP is on the back end, even if you can bait the Earthquake. So in this scenario, if you try to throw and the bait doesn't land, bail. And try to have a safe switch that you can roll into that will counter Sableye. Nice Provo Pass would be pretty nice. But Wing Attack is slowly losing favor the further and further we get down this list. Next, we're going to look at Steelix. This is one where my Fury Cutter fans that are out there, this is where if you want to win the Steelix matchup handily, I would suggest the Fury Cutter. You still are going to be able to win with the Wing Attack. However, if you're running the Fury Cutter edition, you are going to eat one less crunch. With Fury Cutter, you're going to be able to finish him off quickly, and he's not going to be able to get out that extra crunch. However, with the Wing Attack, you're going to come out with 68 less HP, which is the antithesis of what I have there. So if you're running Fury Cutter, straight Earthquake, Fury Cutter wins with 68 more HP, which, depending on your team comp, could be the difference, especially if you like to run like Glassy or Ghost. That HP difference may be the difference in you getting to another charge move, or you moving on to your next Mon and not getting to burn that energy. Next, we're going to move into the Rockboys with two versions of Rhyperior because I think the jury is still out. PV Poke has our second edition listed right now, but this first one is one we wanted to kind of take a deeper dive into. This is the Mudslap, Surf, and Stone Age edition. Rhyperior is a rock ground type. Either way, in this setup, with this move set, Fury Cutter and Wing Attack are both going to be able to claim the match. Fury Cutter wins with 64 more HP than Wing Attack, which the problem with the Wing Attack is that it's going to take an unshielded Surf, which with that ground typing is going to hurt. So this is of course in the one shield scenario, so Fury Cutter is going to delete that Rhyperior before it has a chance to launch off that second Surf. You can bait the Earthquake out, or excuse me, bait the shield by acting like you're throwing Earthquake and then throw Night Slash. And then from there you can get to an Earthquake before it's able to get to its Surf, but whenever you're running the Wing Attack version, you're not going to be able to, you're going to have to eat that Surf, and so that's going to be a huge HP difference. I believe that's about a third of what Gliscor's health is. However, whenever we go over to the SmackDown Surf Superpower Edition, Fury Cutter is going to take the cake. With Wing Attack, you're going to miss that second Earthquake, that one that would KO the Rhyperior if they didn't have any shields or they elected not to use their second shield, by one Wing Attack. You're going to miss it by one, which is absolutely frustrating. Fury Cutter is going to win with bait. You need residual energy, but remember I said you need one Wing Attack. That's 7 energy difference. If you come in with any energy, this matchup is still yours if you play smart PvP. But if it's a fresh and you try to run it down on the lead, you're going to come so close, but yet so far away. So try to, if you have to swap into this one, pray that you have energy in the back, or at least one Wing Attack to get you forward. And the last one we're going to look at today, guys, is a Lowland Marowak, which is a Ghost Fire type user. He's going to be running Fire Spin, Bone Club, and Shadow Ball. Now with the Fury Cutter edition, we're going to be clearly winning with a meta ranking of 752, but with Wing Attack, we're going to come in at 396, which is a significant drop. And that's just due to the speed of the equation. With either move, you have to shield the Shadow Ball. The Shadow Ball hurts. It is possible to block the Shadow Ball in Wing Attack. It's very difficult to do. I've been running it in the Sims since I saw this matchup sent to me by El Shota Jason. I still can't predict the Shadow Ball with the computer being there, so I'm just going to say with Wing Attack, we're going to write this off as a loss, just because between Bone Club and Shadow Ball, it's too dicey. You'll end up investing more shields than necessary in this matchup. It's a bad look. But like I said, with Fury Cutter involved, you take the match hands down, but you still have to block the Shadow Ball and keep that count in your head. So this feel like, as always, is going to shape up to one of those metas that is highly fast move count dependent. I know that's something that becomes kind of commonplace after a while in PvP, but I feel like this meta is going to be extra spicy in that regard. But hopefully after today, you'll have the ability, the tools, the tips, the tricks to be able to use Gliscor effectively, or at the very least choose whether or not you want to use one of those precious fast TMs on this floating scorpion boy. They gave him Fire Fang in the anime. That would definitely twist some things up in the anime right now, or excuse me, in the meta right now. And I hope to be able to do more deep dives for you guys in the future. So like I said earlier, if you have any suggestions for a deep dive, leave them in the comments, and if we get a chance, we'll definitely take a look at those, see if we need to do some further delving into it. Also, remember to smash that subscribe button and hit the notifications bell, and like if you have the opportunity, so you can get the most up-to-date notifications on whenever brand new PvP content is released. And I'm Professor Willow, and see you guys in the next one.